Hello everybody and welcome to my garden. It's a few days since my last updated post. I haven't been doing that well, so just gonna have to deal with me here for a bit. These, unless otherwise stated, are all Bridge Sea by Kimura's Giant. And first up here though, we're gonna go with the TBMB. The TBMB has a large number of different pups. Actually, I think this is a pup, I'm not sure, but here's one, here's two, here's three, here's four, here's five, here's six, and here's seven. So as you can see, we've got a large number of pups growing, and I'm just going to keep that there so it's different. You can see it's kind of growing like this instead of out so far. That's because there is no spot for this to pup here. It had already pupped right here. This one was the main pup. It came off. This was a side pup that came off here and is growing up. So most of it's over here. As you can see, a little bit's going to start growing over here. I had cut off a couple of sections. You can see the section that got cut off was over here, and it was about this tall. It was, I think, 4 or 5 segments that were pretty big, weighed about 250 grams before drying out. So pretty good. You can get a good return on this one within about a year. In a year and a half, maybe 2 years, you'll get a really good return in 2 years. So I mean, 2 years from when it starts getting like this, it really starts growing and taking off and exploding. So next year, 2 years from this time, I expect it to be like this, a lot bigger as it pups. And as I work on it and put it inside in the winter. Coming over here, we have some that you can barely see through the grass because I'm still mowing and getting through everything. I had to stop because I have an electric mower and it's super high, as you can see, and I've gone through a couple of cuttings and gotten it back to about here so far, and it's doing well. So back here we have if you can see it, we have a monstrose that I grew, and I had like 2 or 3 of these, but this is the only one that survived. As you can see, it's like almost a flame purple, pink, red at the top there. And that I thought was really cool, so that's why I'm keeping it growing. I had actually taken it out of soil because I wasn't sure how many roots were there, and it's not rooted very well at all. It seems to root like some of the small little button cacti out there. So, but it's starting to root, it's starting to get bigger now, so I think a lot of those problems are over. Coming over here, we have some more Bridge Sea by Kimura's Giant, and you can see I have these marked, so I should be able to do it. This one on the right's doing decently well. It's a little bit skinny, but you know, that's what happens when they're overwintered and then when they're in smaller pots with 2 or 3 of them at a time. Over here we have one that originally I thought rotted out, but it decided to pup back up in the same spot it was. This one was another top that I had cut back, so that's what's going on with that one. Over here we have one that has 4 pups on it, and as you can see, this one was leaning and this one went from low light to high light, so you can see that this one's causing a lot of pups to come off, and you can see this is going through the whole way. Coming over here, the one on the right was actually gone and shoved in upside down, and as you can see, it actually pupped from the base and from the very bottom and came up and is becoming a column from the very bottom. As I said, over here, this one has pups on it. One pup that's grown big. This one over here, as you can see, it was actually the top of this one. However, what you can see is it actually did almost the same thing as that one that had almost rotted out. You can see it's pupping back up at the distance that it needs to. Over here we have a pretty cool one. This one overall is just has a lot of the patch look to it, even though it's Bridge Sea. If you look closely, you can see on the spines how they have that slight reddish orange hue to them, which is allowing it to go through and grow pretty well. Over here we have a couple of more that have some pups on the base. Again, they're leaning and they went from a low light to a high light, so you can see how the pups are growing on that one. Over here we have one that I keep using for cutting, so you can see it's all messy and all growing a little bit weird. You can see right here I had sunburn from not putting it under any type of a shade cloth this year or beginning of the year. It went straight from a 600 watt blur bowl straight out to the sun, and you can see what happens when you leave it out in the sun, how they bleach and how they get sunburned. This one's starting to do pretty cool. You can see down here where the glaucous nature starts. This is obviously the end of last year's growth, and this is the end of the winter growth, as you can see, and then this is the beginning of this growth as it's getting fatter. So I'm probably going to take it, cut it back here like I did with this one, Hope I can get some pups off the top and some basil pups. I have one growing here, so it's not like I don't have anything, but I'm hoping for a top pup. I'm gonna take this middle skinny section. I'm gonna do something like, I'm probably gonna log it to try it out, but I've never had been able to log stuff and get it to work. I mean, I'll try it in my log and down with all the other cacti in the basement, but I mean, I just can't get the logs to work ever. So that's the one thing if somebody has a suggestion on, because I can put them in and I throw it down and it'll start rooting, but it'll never pup. I've had ones that I tried for about 2 or 3 years using the log method and it just wouldn't pup. As you can see, some of these have some grass and some other things in there. I want it to be a living soil, so I'm not taking it all out. Probably that one there, the one I was talking about, that's got the three different columns on it. I'll probably end up having to do some stuff with that. Coming over here, this is one I really think is cool. It's got 2 pups at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some more pups somewhere that are really small over here somewhere. It's hard to see. You can see them. Let me bring it over. You can see it right here. Right here. Let me zoom in a little more and get it better. Right here are 2, or at least 1. They're going to come up. They're just going to be really small. Over here is a Bolivian torch, straight bridge sea. This one I had purchased. As you can see, again, it didn't overly like the sun at the beginning, and you can see with this pup here how it went from low light to high light and how it looked like it was going to go bad, and then it came back. You can see on this one as well. As I said, all that white stuff is sunburn, and at the very tip here you can see how it grew out of the sunburn. And even though it has a little bit here still from the very tip, it's growing well. Over here we have one that used to be about 3 feet tall. I couldn't get it inside last winter, so I had to cut it back. So now you can see on the left hand side there's a pup that was growing pretty well. Now we have another pup here and another pup here, and that's because these ones were just, it's small there because it overwintered, and I think pulling it back out into the sunshine did something. But these didn't get any type of problems with them, and I know they came this year, so I think it's just a matter of just letting it grow back and just leaving it in the container it's in. We have another one back here, again, similar in nature to all the other ones that were inside because they didn't have a good spring or good winter because it was a 600 watt blurple. So nothing great. Over here we have one of my favorites. It's got one little blotch there that's not good. This is actually variegating. I thought at first that this was just a problem with the plant itself and getting too much light or not enough nitrogen or something, but it's just variegating, as you can see, which is really cool. This one all of these I grew from seed except for the 3 that I note, the TBM that I first started with, the straight Bolivian torch, the bridge sea that I told you about, and there's one other Bolivian torch, otherwise known as a bridge sea, that's gonna be coming out. But you can see this one's pretty cool. It starts to get wider. You can see where it stopped last season right there with the blue, and then it started growing again this year and it started to variegate. So that's pretty cool that it's variegating. Hopefully it continues to variegate and it's not a fact of a nitrogen issue. Coming over here, we've got one that started to pup. As you can see, it was small and it's getting bigger as the season's going on. And this is a segment I cut. Here's another single segment that again is doing the same thing. Over here are 3 different segments, and the 2 there are doing pretty well. And this one here was another one I actually shoved in upside down. It wasn't rooting, so what I had done is I had gone and pulled it out of the soil about 3 months ago and shoved it back in right at the end of the time it was inside, brought it out, and it started pupping within about 3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe a little less. Maybe a lot less, I can't quite remember. It's been a bit since I've been as I've been doing this. I can't remember because I don't go back and look at my old videos much, but that pupped out pretty well. Over here we have another bridge sea by Comores Giant. This one again has a lot of patch look to it, has a very Pachonia look to it, but again this one also has the flame red bridge sea look to it with its spines, as you can see. Very small though, which gives you the patch look to it, but I mean it's a fat plant. It just doesn't have large spines. I believe I showed you this one. If not, here's another one that's doing the same thing. You can see where it got too much heat to it and too much light. Coming over here, we've got a couple of more. Nothing much going on these. Back here we have these ones, same deal, nothing going on. Not much to report. This one here is pretty cool, but nothing really going on that one either. Coming back here, we've got 3 with 1 that obviously is leaning, and it's got 4 pups from leaning and from going to low light to high light. Over here we have one that's got 4 pups. This one all the way on the right was burnt down to a crisp from the sun, and I didn't think it was going to grow, but it started growing again. So it's pretty cool. This one's been cut a couple of times and is leaning a bit, hence the reason that it would be pupping, and it went from low light to high light. And to finish it off, we have a bridge sea. This was a straight Bolivian torch I had purchased, and sorry about all of these weeds. Ow. I'm trying to get rid of them in the next few days. I just really smashed my hand against that. Ow, now I've got myself some spines in my hand. Ow. So anyway, that's about what I have. If I missed something, I apologize. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you had a good time. And thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.